This video is sponsored by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up with the link in the description will get 1 month of free access to thousands of courses. I think we can all remember watching our first Nardwuar interview. Nardwuar the Human Serviette is a very memorable interviewer. Even if you've only seen one of his interviews, I'm sure you can imagine the Scottish hat paired with the pants and the eccentric attitude. The aura that he has is infectious on every interviewee that he interacts with.
Did you put this out?
Oh my, Kev. This is what the fuck I've been trying to find.
So infectious that you can feel the excitement that each celebrity has, interview after interview. For PR reasons, every single actor and musician has to be interviewed. In most cases, it's seen as a chore. If a celebrity has the option to not conduct interviews, they'll likely take that option. But in the case of Nardwuar, needless to say, it is different. He has huge acts knocking on his door asking to be interviewed, in some cases over and over again. So how did a Vancouver-based Canadian overcome the stale idea of an interview and reimagine them for generations to come? Nardwuar was born in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, to his father, an engineer named Vernon, and his mother, Olga, who was a journalist and history teacher. He got his first influence from his mother, who brought him to historical society meetups. In 1985, he had his first interview with the band that he booked for the school, Poisoned, at the age of 17. The group of 30-year-olds didn't take it too seriously, but it really shows that at no point Nardwuar breaks character. The band was talking amongst each other and kids were screaming in the background. If you weren't told that this was Nardwuar before, you can definitely tell a few minutes in. This confidence and attentiveness is something that would help him in the next decade while trying to pursue interviews. Before his breakthrough, Nardwuar went local, getting a gig at the University of BC radio station, only on Fridays for 1-minute segments. After 1 minute, they couldn't get him off the show. This eventually stretched from 5 minutes and to 15 minutes. This is where the second pillar of Nardwuar is presented, 15 minutes of fame, a concept crowned by Warhol. It's defined as a very short time in the spotlight or a brief flurry of fame, after which the person or subject involved is quickly forgotten. I can see this in the face of interviews. Most of the time, you're solely there for the artist, not necessarily the host. The second reason to why Nardwuar became so successful is that he made every second memorable for the interviewee. As an interviewer, you likely have no longer than 15 minutes to make yourself memorable. On top of that, you're not even the star of the show. Not being given much is how he got his 1994 interview with Kurt Cobain. Since he had no connections, he waited in the venue's backstage washroom way before the show started. His plan was to come out of the washroom once the band started coming in, but Nardwuar was exposed. But of course, he had a backup plan. He had a cassette with an interview he did with Courtney Love, who was with Kurt at the time. He left it hoping that Kurt would find it, listen to it, and reach out to Nardwuar. In every way, he wasn't given much, but he'd always create his own opportunities out of it. It turns out that Kurt didn't contact him, but Nardwuar would find out later that he did listen to the tape. When Kurt was in town once again, Nardwuar shouted out Courtney Love, who was entering the venue with him. Through this, he scored one of his biggest interviews by once again being persistent and making the best out of what he had.
I was wondering,
You only have like 2 more questions until we're done, so you got to make it good. So pick the next 2 questions you're going to do, come up with them. So pick your 2 best shots, because we're not going to sit here and jack off all day.
No matter how shitty the interviewee was, he'd keep composure. In 1991, Sonic Youth tore up a 7-inch single given to them. In 1998, Henry Rollins just had enough of Nardwuar's questions, and in 2002, Blur's drummer physically abused and mocked him on set. Through each of these experiences shines the same exact composure from 1985. After doing my own Nardwuar level research, I was presented the true meaning of his job. The interviewer's job is to make the interviewee exciting. Simple but to the point. A good interview will bring the best out of an artist. They will fuel the fire for the individual. You can see in these clips the 2 opposite sides of the spectrum.
Always late here. And
Man, shut the fuck up.
Come on, man.
because you kindly said the last time I talked to you, I could interview you at your house.
You are more than welcome to come to my house. You just got to get a ticket and come see me. Get at my partner. He'll let you know how to get through the, door. Once you get through the door, you get past the dogs, and you get to me.
The third pillar is to just ask, a term that he crowned in his TED Talk topic. Nardwuar got his first radio show because he asked the program director a million times. It's how he got the first interview with James Brown in over 20 years. And it's how he interviewed many other legendary acts. By the year 2000, things would really change for Nardwuar. Through Much on Demand, Nardwuar became more than just a local Vancouver phenomenon. It was specifically through the 2000 interview with Snoop Dogg for his film Bones, hence the outfit during the interview. Although he was very nervous because he didn't know anything about Snoop Dogg, he said that if you're not nervous, you shouldn't be doing the interview. He further stated that no, he doesn't know everything, and that nobody should walk into an interview with that mindset. Although he didn't know anything about Snoop Dogg, he did know that he liked the comedian Red Fox, so he brought a Red Fox doll to the interview to break the ice. That interview ended up being a breakthrough for hip-hop artists. Snoop loved Nardwuar. This was also the turning point where the simple influenced records that he gave to the artist turned to nostalgia. Very well thought out nostalgic pieces. By doing this, it not only broke the ice, but literally hit the soft spot of these artists. When he mentions that show when they were younger or studio tapes, it became personable, something that many interviewers failed to achieve. This also played into the idea of the interview being memorable, alongside his unforgettable appearance and voice. Everything that Nardwuar did aged beautifully. He just kept getting better and better, throwing off more artists and hosting some of the most impressive interviews that many of these artists were involved with. His connection with Pharrell led to a massive interview with Jay-Z. This was even more impressive because Pharrell requested for this interview to happen, calling, emailing, and texting Jay-Z to make sure it went down. As the years went on, Nardwuar manages to grasp today's biggest artists: Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, and Lil Uzi. With these interviews being so good, you've likely seen one of the very memorable clips from the interviews. More recently, J. Cole promised him an interview after being too busy after a concert. J. Cole kept his word and the recent interview came out, gaining 3.5 million views in a month. Nowadays, Nardwuar has made it in every way. He's iconic. And those being interviewed are now the ones starstruck over him. He's become an achievement in the music industry. If you've been interviewed by Nardwuar, you've made it. But the real question is, how does he get all of this information? It's easy, just ask. In reality, a lot of Nardwuar's knowledge comes from the impressive research and connections that he has to those interviewing. If he was savvy enough to know an artist without the internet in the 90s, he's more than capable to find next to anything now. If it's from family members to managers, will forever be his secret. But ultimately, all he does is ask, and he makes it clear that you can do it too. Nardwuar is a true Canadian treasure. He represented BC beautifully throughout his career, and still pays strong homage to UBC's 101.9 radio station, which started it all. Nardwuar reimagined interview etiquette through his confidence, memorability, and through his extensive preparation. He makes every interviewee feel special in their own way, and brings nostalgia to one of the most stale sectors in the entertainment industry. In every way, he's created a new standard to the classic interview. Nardwuar taught us that there's something to learn about each and every person, and that's what makes every single interview from him so great. I think that's a wonderful concept that we can all learn from Nardwuar. Nardwuar found success by doing it differently. If an outcast from Vancouver did it, you can do it too. Now I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite Nardwuar interview and why? Thank you guys so much for watching and keep on rocking in the free world. Doo-doo-doo-doo.